Are we live?
We're live.
Oh, we're live.
We thought we'd join early, because why not?
Ooh, I
Feel
know.
a bit cheeky.
Well, it's also just me and Eva today, and because we're the ones that
Sunglasses on.
usually organise the filming and the tech of it all,
We've got it all done and organised.
yeah, ready to go.
So we just thought we'd just get on here, wait for people to join, have a bit of a chit chat.
Yum yum.
How's your week?
Good. I'm very excited to be coming out of lockdown, as I'm sure everybody is.
Yes.
A couple of people are a bit anxious, and that's perfectly understandable, but, you know, oh God.
You do what you can.
Hell. We've been doing lockdown tastings for bloody 2 years now, haven't we?
Well, we did Pinot Gris Grigio as our first ever week's tasting, and it's first ever lockdown week's tasting, and technically speaking, it's going to be our last lockdown tasting.
And that was not actually planned.
No.
That was just purely coincidental.
Oh, yeah.
We were going to do a different white wine tasting, and then decided to do Grigio and Gris instead.
And I was the only one left in the shop, and I went, we need to have an event. Let's do this.
Yeah. And yeah, so it's kind of funny because, as Eva says, Grigio and Gris was our first lockdown tasting.
And in the first lockdown tasting, it was a bit of a moment where Ross accidentally pulled this from the fridge because he went, I'll drink this. Not really realising
We'd sent
that's...
everybody else a different Pinot Grigio, or a different Pinot Gris rather, and Ross opened the Robbie Dolan and was waving it around, and everyone at home was like, what's going on?
I didn't have that one.
So we thought, just once we realised it was going to be the last lockdown tasting and that was our first, we thought it would be fitting to do
Pretty good wine.
the Robbie Dolan, especially because it's one of our best-selling
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Pinot Grigio Gris, so that's exciting.
Yeah, no, really. That's also, didn't start the video with it's Thursday because we joined early, so I didn't think it was that much of
It's Thursday! The other reason we didn't start the video is because normally Vivian is here to do it.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's actually, if you don't know, that's our cue from whoever's behind the camera to let us know that we've started filming. So when it's just me and Eva, we know it's filming.
We just go, I'll just wander over here and do that.
6:31.
Yeah.
You know what that means?
Drinking time.
Indeed,
Drinky, thirsty, Thursday time.
What have we got on?
I can't see who the people are. Look, I can see there's people, but I don't know who they are.
Oh.
I can go and have a little look-see. Hello, everyone. Welcome.
No, let me switch to Lee.
Oh, we've got Melanie Kent, and we've got Ian.
Hello, Ian. Hello, Melly.
We've got Lisa.
Oh, Lisa's on. Hello.
Yeah. Well, you can see the people who, if they don't comment, you can see it on the phone, but you can't see it on the computer. That's the only downfall. Yeah.
Oh, because Vivian normally calls out who's just joined.
Yeah.
Alright, so because it's just the two of us sliding by the seat of our pants this evening, we...
You have to comment in the section.
Yeah, you've got to make comments so that we know that you're here. And feel free to ask plenty of questions.
Yes.
So we're starting off with the Munificent Pinot Grigio from
King
Valley.
Valley. What do we need to know about Pinot Grigio?
Pinot Grigio, as we like to call it.
Hi, Susan.
The reason we haven't done another Pinot Grigio Gris tasting since start of lockdown is because we kind of forget about it. Because it's such a staple everyday drinking wine, we kind of don't over-analyse it. You know, it's a bit sort of that sort of thing.
I think it's also because we're not too big for our boots, but we've just done lots of different weird, wonderful things. So we're just like, just classic old Pinot Grigio.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's a bit like that.
Yeah. Hi, Ed. Hello.
Oh, beautiful.
They've coming in. But yeah, so Pinot Grigio, the grape is very similar to Pinot Noir, basically the DNA's.
Yeah. This is the funny thing is Pinot Grigio and Pinot Noir are very, very, very similar. In terms of white and red grape varietals, a lot of white and red grapes are related to one another, but Pinot Gris and Noir are two of the closest related in terms of the difference between a white and a red, which is why they carry the same name, obviously. Obviously Pinot Grigio and Gris means grey. because when they're ripening, they have a tendency to get a white sort of misty finish on the skin. They're like a chalky finish. It makes them look a little bit grey as they're ripening. But the other really interesting thing is that if you look at a lot of the history of white wines, they're a lot of, and their relation to reds, a lot of them are crossbreeds of different types of wines.
Yeah.
But Pinot Grigio and Pinot Gris are straight up just a mutation.
Yeah.
So if you know anything about Pinot Noir, it tends to mutate really easily. It's quite an unstable variety. And so this is just a natural progression of that.
Yeah, okay.
Which has been around for a very long time. And because
Christine,
of that, when it gets super ripe, Pinot Gris and Grigio tends to go a little bit pink. And is considered to be one of only 3 grape varieties that are actually pink grapes.
Oh, and that's why there's often a pink blush in a lot of... okay, right.
And so some people, they'll call, particularly the French, when they let it get pink, sometimes they call it Grigio Rosé. Or, and sometimes they refer to it as a rosé, and sometimes they refer to it as a Grigio, because it's one of the few wines that's actually kind of a little bit of both.
We've got Christine, hello. It says, Vivian, it could be a bit louder. Everything should be fine. Have you turned your volume up?
Yes. See, the other thing is we've had some microphone issues in the last couple of weeks, so if it is super quiet, let me know. We'll see what we can do about it.
And Ash said, nice hair, Luke and Eva.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Anyway, so we're tasting the Munificent. This is created by one of our suppliers, actually, a distributor called Hale & Cooper, who are really good friends of ours, and our rep got us onto this, and it's quickly become a star favourite as well.
Well, this sort of range, like their Shiraz that we tried a few weeks ago, sells really well.
Yeah.
It's just really well-made wine.
It's really well-made wine for the price. Basically what happened is they wanted it sort of their house wine, or like everyday drinking wine.
Yeah.
And so because they're making it in bulk, they were able to get the price down to something really affordable. And they decided that if they were going to do that, they may as well give back. So these guys actually donate like 50% of their...
Or however much of their proceeds,
their proceeds to charity. And I think they're also going to create another line of wines with a different charity. But these guys donate 50% of their proceeds to Sister Works, which is a women-led charity supporting women in business and refugees.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Anyway.
Drink to that. Beautiful. Well, it's a nice...
Beautiful pale colour.
Nice tinge of yellow. Almost a little bit like greeny, but not. Like a greeny yellow.
Like it's not super warm yellow tone.
No, not at all. Hi Janine and Ed. This Munificent is $16.95 a bottle.
Very affordable.
Yeah, that's what we usually do with the wine tastings. We do sort of like the entry level, then a little bit more, and a little bit more. Yeah. So this is your entry level kind of thing.
It's nice and grassy on the nose. Like it's almost got like that hay bale sort of a smell.
You reckon?
Subtle. I mean, maybe definitely more grass.
So you almost get like an unripe.
It's like a Granny Smith kind of a note there.
Yeah. Or like an unripe nectarine or something.
Oh,
like
green
that.
nectarines. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like crunchy stone fruit.
Yeah. It's not quite there. Vivian says, tastes like green apple. By the way, Vivian, you can click on the little Week Seller button. There should be an arrow next to it, and you can select what account you want to comment from. Just
if there was any confusion, Vivian.
Just so you don't have to write from Vivian every time. Oh, Linda's got cheese going with this one, and Ash has said very melonish.
Ooh.
What kind of melon? Are we thinking like honeydew? Actually, yeah, honeydew.
Mind you, Eva was talking about different types of tasting notes in melon today, which I found incredibly interesting. Because we were talking about the difference between rock melon and...
Oh, honeydew melon and Santa melon. Santa melon is really similar to honeydew melon, but I think it's not. Honeydew melon, I think, is maybe a little bit sweeter, and there's got more flavour to it, whereas Santa melon, I think, is a little bit more watery.
See, I have no idea. So now I see the flip side of when I'm talking about different kinds of dirt.
You like melons, you know?
I'm going to dive into tasting.
Carmen and Christine said, slightly grassy, but the taste is super subtle. Easy to drink, but we're having trouble tasting the flavour. Honeydew is a good note. Ash just said bubblegum. Bubblegum. I'd go more of like the fairy floss or...
See, bubblegum could also be grape flavoured gum.
Yeah, oh, that's true. That is associated, yeah.
Which is interesting. There's a slight yellow taste. I don't know how to describe that, the flavour of that. Definitely white nectarine kind of thing going on.
Yellow
that really,
taste.
No, you know when you taste something and it sort of reminds you of
Like
a colour?
tropical?
No, just something warm, yellowy. Maybe that, like a yellow pear. Like a really
Ooh,
ripe
yeah.
pear.
Mm. Or even like the really yellowy nectarines. Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, Ash had the artificial grape flavour.
Yeah, see, I get that.
Interesting.
It's really front palate forward. Like, I think it's got a nice dry finish that doesn't linger too much, which from a cheap Pinot Grigio is kind of what you want.
It lingers enough though.
Yeah, it sits on the middle palate rather than leaving heaps at the back, which I think if you're kind of having like an entry level, everyday drinking kind of a wine, if it's got too much on the back palate, it kind of loses its drinkability.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah.
Wow. I think that's a really good wine.
Well, it's good because it leaves you wanting more.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't overwhelm. But it's still got enough flavour at the front. Goes well with food too.
What kind of food are you thinking? Goes well with cheese.
I find this really good with like pesto pasta and things like that.
Oh, okay, yeah.
I have that quite regularly. Goes really great with just vegetable flavours. It can handle like some buttery sort of dishes, like if you're the kind of person who puts butter in your pasta.
Yeah, okay.
It's really yummy. But I dare say this would go really well with brie though.
Oh yeah.
Crispy, crunchy Grigio with a gooey, soft triple cream brie.
Do you reckon it would go with something like garlicky, buttery prawns kind of pasta?
Ooh. Buttery prawns and garlic. Yeah, for sure. I will say whenever I drink this, I do often have a lot of garlic in my pasta.
Yes, Ash, it does give its money to charity. Yeah, the sister works. So you're drinking for a good cause.
Which is nice, you know, especially because, you know, these guys have created this brand just for their own distribution company. It's good to see people actually using profits for good.
Oh, especially when there's big brands that are just for the brand more than anything else. No, it's
for sure.
good to see.
How do we feel about it? Is it a yay from us?
Yeah. Oh, Christine said it's good with the celery and pesto dip we're eating.
That's really interesting. I haven't had celery come up in a food matching before. But I guess a lot of white wines, that would be really good with celery.
It would.
That green crunchiness is...
And refreshing, nothing too offensive.
Even maybe cucumber, like that would go quite nice with a cucumber salad.
Cucumber sandwiches.
Not that posh.
Just a little.
It's only a $17 wine, you know.
Yeah, but how much is a cucumber and how much is bread? Like, if you think about it.
Oh, I just think of little tiny little
cut off the crusts.
Yeah, tiny little cut up.
Almost like a bread cookie cutter
sandwiches. Yeah.
Those ones.
How does everyone feel about it? I'd be interested to know because
I think it's a good one.
Yummy.
Do you think this one is quite reflective of the region?
Look, King Valley is well known for specifically Prosecco and Italian style white wines. So
these guys do a Prosecco as well.
Yeah, so in terms of making like a King Valley Italian style, I think they've done the right thing. That really, really crisp and crunchy, not too much flavour. Do you know what I mean? There's a couple of key. It's got to be refreshing. It's got to have enough green, crunchy, appley flavours on the palate, but not be overwhelming, so you can drink it when it's really hot as well. It's one of those sort of like quite Italian style.
Gets the job done.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Christina says, okay, you've got us both brilliant cucumber sandwiches. Ian said celery would be great. Waldorf with macadamia instead of walnut.
Ooh, a Waldorf salad would be ripper.
Yum.
I think you're onto a winner there. Mind you, you're the chef for a reason.
Very true. And yeah, Cartman said celery is so good. I just forget about celery. I never like it, but then I kind of like it at the same time.
You never think about it. You never crave it.
And also, it's really big when you buy it. You have to buy a lot of it, otherwise you have to buy it in plastic.
Yeah, I don't understand who markets.
Who designed celery?
I just want one stalk of celery, you know?
Honestly.
When I'm making a sauce, I just want a couple stalks of celery.
Much. Yeah. No, it's... Sorry.
Sorry, rant about celery.
Ian said, lol.
Yes, Ian, I just want enough for my mirepoix.
I don't even know what that is.
It's the French combination of celery, onion, and carrot that goes into like the start of it, a sauce.
Oh, there you go.
It's a surprise to nobody that I studied hospitality.
Oh, really?
Anyway.
Do you have any last comments on this?
Yummy.
Is there anything you'd want to change about it?
I wouldn't mind a bit more on the back palate.
Yeah?
Like it hangs around, but it doesn't provide a whole lot. That being said, I think the reason I like it so much is
because it doesn't.
You can drink a bit of it.
Yeah, right. Well, does anyone have any last comments on this one? Like it, don't like it?
I'd be interested to know what Vivian and Ross think.
Yeah, they've gone quiet.
Oh, bummer.
I think they've just gone, we're just going to drink this instead.
It is a sunny, balmy Thursday afternoon after all. I will say.
They've got the week off, so why not?
I was very jealous to hear that they had the week off and the weather was nice.
Oof,
anyway,
it's rough.
Shall we move on?
We shall. Groovy. Well, what are we doing now?
Do you want a fresh glass?
Yeah, I do. I'm just still drinking this because it's really yummy. Sorry, I'm still tasting this.
Tasting.
So we're going to the Tar and Roses.
Tar and Roses. Now this is quite a well-known wine from Central Victoria.
Oh, Vivian has chopped up like it's obviously a good first drink of the day. Yeah, fair enough.
Fair enough indeed. Now Tar and Roses was started by two winemakers, Don Lewis and Narelle King. Narelle's a bit younger than Don, and unfortunately Don has now passed away. But the reason the wine company's called Tar and Roses is because they started their wine business focusing on Mediterranean and Spanish style wines. So they make a lot of Sangiovese, Tempranillo and Nebbiolo. Mm-hmm. And their favourite wines were Nebbiolo, and they couldn't find any Nebbiolo in Australia. So they went to Spain and did some winemaking over there, learnt how to make Nebbiolo and brought it back.
Right, okay.
So when it comes to talking about winemakers and their passion projects, this really started off like that. And the main flavour characteristics of Nebbiolo in tasting notes are often tar and roses, which is how they got the name for their company.
Okay,
and
interesting.
the pair of them as winemakers often were referred to tar and roses. So Narelle would be the roses and John Lewis would be the tar. Which I thought was kind of a really romantic idea.
Rose and the thorn.
Rose and the thorn, yeah. So obviously they make lots of different Mediterranean style wines, they refer to it. It's now just made by Narelle. Obviously John has unfortunately died. But he was quite famous in the winemaking industry because he won one of the top awards back in 1991 when he was at Mitchelton Winemakers, or Vintners I think they were called, which was the Jimmy Watson Trophy. So the Jimmy Watson Trophy was given to winemakers for a very specific style of wine, which is red wine that's direct from the barrel after 1 year. And they always taste the wines direct from the barrel after 1 year. Like, it's very strict. You can't just make whatever wine you want and submit it.
Yeah, okay.
And he won an award for that in 1991. And that kind of put his name in the hat for being well known in the wine industry.
Yeah, right.
So quite a lot of history behind the wine in terms of like the fact that they're very Victorian
Yeah.
kind of pull a lot of inspiration from Spanish style wines.
Oh, nice. Vivian has said pretty, and Melanie has said we call this movie wine because they sell it at the classic cinema.
The other thing is that some of you may know Melanie Kent, who is Vivian and Russ's next door neighbour. Shout out to you, Melanie. Every couple of weeks when Mel gets an order of wine, we throw some of this in because our local cinema down south it is one of the best wines that they have on pour. So as Melanie says, we call it the movie wine.
Oh, I love that. Now I don't know if we've had this a long time. I know we got it back in stock a few months ago, so I'm not sure if that's the first time we've had it or...
We've had it we have it on and off.
Yeah, okay.
It's one of those wines we forget about. And then whenever someone asks for it, we get it back in and we always taste it and go, yum, you know. So
Susan says, tastes almost like rose water, but with a hint of red apple on the nose.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Now the nose, I'd like to point out, these guys call it a Grigio, much like Munificent, but the smell of this is a completely different style wine. Just particularly in the aromatics. I get like pink lady apples.
It's a lot going on. So this one has more of a warm yellow to it. It's almost like a blush.
Yeah, it's almost it's still very pale.
Oh,
It's like
quite,
not got a lot of pigment, but it's a very pinky toned wine. And also, have you got sediment in yours?
No, do you?
Oh, I might just have a dirty glass. That's okay. I'll live. It's got I'm trying to work out what that smell is.
This one's tricky.
It's got that kind of, I don't want to say damp. Damp is not the right word. It's almost like wet, not quite petrichor, but wet earthy sort of note to it almost.
Like mossy?
Yeah, mossy's a really good point. That's a great way about actually.
You're not like just damp.
No, well, we were talking about earthy tones and we were talking about woody and earthy tones and not just saying it's woody or earthy, but trying to find a really good descriptor for that.
Yeah.
But, yeah,
It
mossy.
says apricot, pink, peach nose.
Yeah, peaches is good. Definitely apricot. It reminds me of peach, like the peach fuzz, when you like smell a fresh peach and you like touch the fuzz. I don't know
like
why.
that sensation.
I don't know why
it's like
that's
the mossy kind of thing, and
Yeah,
like
maybe.
moss is furry. Yeah, that makes sense.
It's very textural.
It is.
It smells thick. Is it just? Did you know what I mean? It has a really dense aroma.
It has the dense aroma of a red wine.
Yeah.
Maybe because it's been out of the fridge a little bit longer than... Well, they've all been out of the fridge, but maybe it's a bit more time.
I wonder if it's maybe they're trying to bring in that Mediterranean style, the Spanish style, sort of like bigger. Just a bigger white wine.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to dive into the palate because that smells so delicious.
I feel like there's almost a floral note in there.
Oh! The text is really yummy. I know that sounds...
The texture.
The texture
You're really
is yummy.
on the word yummy today. Christine said, this tastes really lovely. The fresh strawberries bring up the fruity notes in the wine. Ian said, just knocked up a quick Waldorf, and yes, it's a great match.
Wow.
All right.
Within less than 10 minutes, Ian Perry has managed to knock up a whole Waldorf salad just to go with this wine. So, if you want to know what a professional chef looks like. Anyway, palate.
This reminds... There's this flower that I keep on walking past that is really quite pungent. And I never know the name of it. I cannot figure out what it is, but it smells like that. Really descriptive, but that's what it's like. It's like a little white flower. Almost on like a viney, bushy kind of thing.
It's not a little flower?
It's like reasonably little.
Honeysuckle?
No, it's not honeysuckle.
Jasmine?
No. I'll have to figure it out. I'll get to it.
Could be jasmine.
Maybe.
Yeah, oh, not quite. Anyway, palate. Definitely nectarines and peaches on the palate. Still not like sweet, fresh, juicy peaches, but sort of like still a little bit crunchy, sort of like first peaches of the season. You know when you bite into it and it's a bit crunchy, then you want it. but it's got that really interesting flavour.
Yeah.
Mm.
There's almost a hint of a mineral.
There is a bit of minerality. Maybe that's that moss I was smelling.
Yeah, potentially.
It does have a subtle minerality to it.
Mm.
Almost. It's not slaty, but it's quite. Almost gravelly.
Really?
I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
Wait. You know when you can you ever like taste a bit of colory sometimes?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It tastes like that.
Tastes like silverware.
Just a bit of metal.
No, silver.
Yeah. Okay.
No, that's just me. Anyway, what do you think?
I think that's pretty good.
Texture? Is it?
A little bit rougher.
Yeah, it's a bit rough. Bit of tar, it's a bit of
A
roses.
bit of tar, a bit of roses. Quite right. I think it's a really good wine.
It's really interesting though because you said it smells a bit floral
Yeah.
and tastes a bit minerally. So it really.
Ooh, tar and roses.
No, but
It is, yeah.
maybe it's their specific style of winemaking that they're trying to bring out in the wines. You know.
I mean, yeah.
It kind of does definitely remind me of some of those like lighter reds though.
Yeah.
Do you mean like it's got the body almost of a Pinot?
No, I'd say so.
Yummy.
That's good. I like
I
that.
wouldn't say, yeah. It's definitely a bit richer.
Vivian said, "Why are you licking cutlery?" Agree, early peach season. I'm not licking cutlery, but it just is sometimes in your mouth.
Sometimes the fork goes in your mouth.
Yeah.
Yum.
I think that's good. Is there anything you change about that? I guess, see, I find it very much a food wine. Because it isn't just like an easy sipping, drinking.
It definitely does leave some residual on the middle palate, and I can see why food would be really good with that. Huh.
Speaking of, little olives.
We had another tasting earlier today, in which we sent out some olives. Some beautiful, might I add, rosemary and native pepper olives from Mount Zero.
Sorry, bear with us, we eat olives.
I'd be interested to know maybe the green olives, not so much the black olives. Anyway.
Yeah, green olives. But not
Yeah.
Sicilian. These aren't Sicilian olives.
No. Australian olives. Just talking about, whether or not it's a food wine. I thought maybe we've got some
As
food.
we've got some food. No, you're quite right. Well, do you have any last comments on that? Love it? Hate it?
Yumbo.
Yumbo, jumbo.
Yumbo jumbo. Yum, yum, yum.
Cool. Well, next one.
Indeed. I'm going to have some water.
Have a little sip of water. Refresh your palate. Get it on your face. So last but not least,
Robbie Dolan.
the Robbie Dolan.
This has fast become one of our best-selling wines.
I think that's because we don't have many customers and one of our customers always buys it.
But even then, between lockdowns, it still does really well.
Oh, it does. Oh, without a doubt. Yeah.
This is the 2020 vintage, for anybody wondering at home, of the Rob Dolan Yarra Vallley Pinot Gris. So they call it a Gris.
Gris.
Doesn't actually mean anything whether it's Gris or Grigio. Some people say, oh, it's going to be sweeter, oh, it's going to be French versus Italian style, and yada yada yada. But at the end of the day, I know Italian families that call it Grigio and make it in a French style, and vice versa. So
It's whatever they feel like to put on the label. I guess it's whatever that sells better, because if there are things that are trending that...
Well, there is something to be said for if you're making a crisp and crunchy style, like an Italian style, to call it a Grigio, and if you're making a rich, full-bodied, to call it a Gris. Not because that's what it is, but because the people who would buy it might think that. Yeah.
Now, speaking of, Ian had said, old mate Stick Stolen.
Yeah.
And why has Ian said Stick Stolen?
Stick Stolen. This actually came up earlier. So before he was a winemaker, Robbie Dolan was a footballer. He did a couple of premierships at Port Adelaide, I believe. I don't watch a lot of football, so I'm not too sure. But before he started Rob Dolan Wines, he started two other wine companies. One called Sticks and the other one called Punt Road, which I think is still around. But the reason he called it Sticks is because Sticks is his nickname when he played footy. So, yes.
Ian said Port Adelaide, yes.
Ah, good.
Ian, you're a Port Adelaide supporter.
Yeah, so also known as Sticks Dolan.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. So it's been Rob Dolan's been around a little while.
It started Rob Dolan Wines in 2010, and then in 2014, he was named up and coming winery by Halliday, which is a pretty prestigious title that he doesn't give out to just anybody, and especially because, you know, a lot of Halliday points are given out to big existing wine brands. So the title of the new up and coming winery is pretty interesting if it's given out by Halliday, because it kind of sets you up to show that you're going to do well in the industry. And for a starting out winemaker, you know, he'd only been making this wine for 4 years.
You'd be pretty stoked with yourself.
You'd be pretty stoked with yourself. And the first vintage they did of this in of their wines in 2010, Rob Dolan didn't even have his own grapes. He borrowed grapes from mates of his, sort of around the Yarra Valley, and sort of just said, if I'm going to really get into this winemaking gig, I've got to know how to do the winemaking. So he just
Fair enough.
borrowed some grapes from mates and sort of kicked it all off.
Grapes from mates.
But now they're kind of quite a well-known winery, and I'm going to say we did some tastings with
we did a taste. Their sommelier ran a tasting,
which was great.
Which was really good, and because they had a few of the different, so they had their
Pinots.
colours,
True Colours range, and
their black
label,
range,
white label.
Yeah, and this is kind of their white label.
And
I think this is their only Riesling. I couldn't see any other Rieslings
Green.
in there. Oh yeah, sorry, Gris in the other ranges either.
yeah.
Not
Yeah.
Riesling.
Oh, that being said, they do also run footy tipping on.
Yeah, we're thinking that Rush should join the footing tipping. Or you said Vivian, because she's better at it.
Well, the other thing is, if you win the Rob Dolan footy tipping, you get 8 dozen bottles of Robbie Dolan wine, which sounds like absolute heaven to me.
So you're like, yeah, alright, I'll be good at footy tipping. Ashley says, buttery oaked melon. This wine has legs. Or you could say it has some sticks. Thanks. Vivian said green melon. And Ed has already called the shots. Rob Dolan is the best one.
Oh.
Janine said by far.
Oh. I will also say, I was looking at some of the Rob Dolan stuff, and he's been pretty largely recognised within the industry as having a really, really, really good hiring of his team. He's got a really diverse team, lots and lots and lots of women. And honestly,
so many dogs as well.
And that was the other thing we were looking. I was looking on their website at their staff and their teams, and right at the bottom of the page of all of the people that work for them, they have a worker's profile on all of the dogs.
It's very sweet.
Including one which is our absolute favourite, Hector.
Hector was just a little...
Is it Hector?
And then there was the winery princess that I don't know.
Yes, it was Hector who was the barrel room king.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Vivian says, I'm footy tipping next year. Yeah. Good
Yeah.
Point. Well,
So-
into the wine. We're
Yum.
getting distracted.
It's like a note of elderflower almost.
Yeah.
Like that, not floral in a bright, light, perfumey way, but in a rich, unctuous kind of a way.
Almost like like with elderflower syrup. that you can
Yeah.
get, but it's not too sweet.
Honeysuckle almost.
Yeah.
And to sound like an absolute tosser, chrysanthemum.
Vivian has said grass clippings.
Oh yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
Okie dokie.
No, not oak. Or maybe a little bit. There's a little bit of oaky. Well, Ash was saying oaky butteriness.
It's almost like a gassiness. There's something about it that's like almost minerally on the nose.
As in, you've left the stove on a little
Yes.
bit and the gas is coming through.
Yeah.
Okay, I get that.
Not in a bad way either. It's kind of giving it a really nice, bright, open.
It's making it quite full.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Colour. What are we talking here?
Very pale.
Pale, but still warm toned. Like it's got a
Yeah.
little bit of that blush thing going on.
Yeah, it does.
I'm gonna go into the palette.
Oh, beautiful mouthfeel. Just slides on through.
And then opens up at the back of the middle palette. There's a bit of vanilla sort of note in there. Like I think it's almost
I almost got a weird banana.
a little bit, but I think it's a little bit oaky.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah.
A little bit. Wow, it's a very complex wine. Yeah, there's like a melaniness there as well.
See, I'd go more rock melon with this one.
It actually reminds me of watermelon rind. You know when you get to the white bit
I used to eat that.
and it's kind of tart. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mmm.
Nice. Mel
Really
said
good
borage
texture.
flowers to go with the shirt and
Fair enough.
hair. See, I think this could either be a food wine or a sipping wine. I could think it could do both.
Mmm. Mmm.
What would you want?
It's making me do that thing that Vivian often
Yeah,
does.
Vivian does it.
She always
The tongue
goes.
click.
She often goes. It goes, which means the texture's great.
Oh, Vivian says oysters. Oh,
Mm.
a white bait. Cooking that next in.
Could go well with oysters. I don't think it's crisp enough. Like crispy. I quite like something with oysters to be quite crisp and crunchy. Like quite
I think it could be go with the fish though.
really good with fish. I reckon.
Mm.
Oh yeah.
Or even like.
It
Or
actually
maybe
kind of
like-
reminds me of some of the Fianos.
Yeah, not bad.
Because I remember, this is a while ago now, that we used to go to Chicholina's down in St Kilda. We still do. And my favourite was always the yellowfin tuna carpaccio.
Mm.
Thinly sliced raw tuna
Oh, I love that.
with capers.
Mm.
And it went really well with the Jericho Fiano, which is why I got it in store. And it reminds me of that. It's got that sort of rich but bright
Mm.
mouth texture that could take kind of oily fish,
Yeah.
even capers.
Yeah, that bit of saltiness.
Yeah, I can get where Vivian's going with the oysters for sure.
Yeah, I'd say so. Vivian says drinking wine. I would agree.
Go really well with watercress. Right, that's just a little thought. Don't know why. Probably because they use watercress on the yellowfin tuna, but that's just me.
I mean, fair enough.
Mm.
If that's what you're feeling like, why not?
I'm gonna have it with an olive.
With an oulave. A bit of saltiness. Well, do you have anything else to add about this, or these ones?
Mm.
As you demolish an olive.
Demolish an olive.
Try it out with the wine.
Oh.
Now you've got Ian. Oh yeah, you've got Ian good with capers and marlin with the capers.
Marlin with
And
capers.
then Ian has said I could smash a big old bowl of white bait and watercress salad right now. But you've already got your Waldorf.
Oh no! Yeah, marlin with capers is good. It goes really well with olives actually. I'm gonna try that again.
Again. Mm.
See, I find, olives and wine is hit and miss. You can be really good. I think olives and wine is the key with this.
Oh yeah.
Mm.
Like the rosemary goes quite well. I get made fun of if I was saying rosemary. Rosemary.
You can say it however you like.
Thank you, I will.
Oh yeah.
Pretty good.
See, I think Thursday evening, nice warm weather, nice bowl of olives, bottle of that.
Jansky.
Champion.
They're nice.
They're really playing off each other.
I love it.
An olive salad, maybe a Greek salad.
Ooh.
Lots of olives.
I don't know if we'd go with a feta. Maybe.
No, I do.
Yeah?
Olives and lots of cucumber.
Okay. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you can do it.
It's like a chunky Greek salad.
Yeah, okay. Nice. Would we have anything else to add on these?
All three very different wines, though.
Yeah.
Like crispity, crunchy, nice, interesting,
Full body.
and then and full body, and then you finish with
Easy peasy. Whatever you want.
give me a straw, please.
Yeah, I think they're all really good. Very different.
Also, but it's interesting. We've got three. Normally, Pinot Gris and Grigio are kind of known as sort of like quaffing wines, your everyday drinking sort of stuff. But they all go really well. I can see how they'd all go really well with food.
Yeah, I agree.
Which I think is interesting. I think sometimes it might just be because I've been drinking a lot of Riesling as well. You get some of those like easy drinking white wines that are just pre-food drinking, not with food drinking, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
So,
yeah.
No, that's just me. But
Yeah, sweet.
there's something to enjoy about all of those, I think.
Yeah.
I think I don't want to say the Tar Roses is my favourite, but it is.
I think Rob Dolan's mine.
Yeah, I'm torn between these two.
Okay.
Yeah, I know this is a favourite already,
Yeah.
but it's a really good.
Yeah.
Can't go wrong.
No.
First drink
Easy
of the night.
peasy.
But if you want something quite sophisticated,
Yeah.
that Rob Dolan is just delicious.
Yeah, sure.
Yummy, yummy.
Other than that, I don't think there's anything more to say.
Yeah. Has anyone got any questions, opinions, food pairings? Where do we
want to be drinking them? Oh, well, I think...
see? Ross often says sarcastically because he's in want of a good drink on a Thursday afternoon. Oh, right here and right now. But 23 degrees.
I want to be drinking outside in a park, maybe at a picnic.
All right, come on then.
Let's go.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
this is perfect. These are all perfect sort of
Yeah.
warm weather, not too hot,
No.
picnic wines.
Yeah, I think so.
Might
Good.
even enjoy them tomorrow
And a picnic.
or in somebody's house.
Don't mind if I do.
Don't mind if I do.
Somebody else's house.
Somebody else's house.
Because you can.
I've never been so excited to sit in the lounge room in my life. But yes, I'm very glad.
Vivian says different wines for different occasions or different times. Yeah.
Different wines for different occasions, for sure.
Well, if that's all, I think that's Pinot Grigio and Pinot Gris for us.
We did have a joke earlier about people mispronouncing things because we have such an entertaining time in store about when people come in and mispronounce things. We don't tease them or anything, but it can be a little bit
I
funny.
think, or somebody,
But-
I think Vivian accidentally said Pinot Grigio or something like that, and then it just,
Yeah, that's the problem. Sometimes we say something wrong because we think it's funny and then we can't get rid of it.
yeah, it sticks.
But me and Eva started saying Pinot Gris,
Pinot Gris.
which I think is quite funny.
Yeah, I think so.
Pinot Grigio, Pinot Gris.
But yeah, we'll stop waffling on. I think that's all us for tonight.
Yum!
I think we're going to pass on a tasting next week. We wanted to do cellos, but we ideally would like to have you installed, but we can't
Yes,
just
so
yet.
because we've got quite a small store, our capacity is a bit tight. And we also figured we might want to let everyone have a chance, sort of everyone rush out and do their out of lockdown sort of rush next week
And
to
then
get it
the
out of their systems
Yeah.
before we have people
come back in.
for a
Yeah.
tasting. So
And then the week after that is spicy gin, so that's all online, and gin club members don't have to worry about it. It'll come
Yeah.
straight to your door.
yeah. So the other thing is moving forward. If you're signed up to the gin club, come November and December, we might send out 2 months at the same time.
Just so it's early and
Just-
we don't have a Christmas career
yeah.
problem. Yeah.
So not next week, the week after will be another gin tasting. We'll be doing spicy gins.
Yeah.
And the week after that, Eva.
Nothing.
Sorry, 2 weeks after that. So we'll probably move to a 2-week schedule.
The 18th of June is going to be.
18th of June.
18th of November.
18th of November. Sorry, we've all got our calendars a little bit mixed up. On the 18th of November is bang in the middle of Gin Week.
Australian Gin Week, so we thought we'd better drink some gin.
So, and it looks like we might be able to have people in store for that. So we thought what we'd do on the 18th of November is we're going to get out all of our gin stock that we've got in the tasting room and we haven't been able to have people in.
Yeah.
And we might have a little
party
open bar gin night.
Yeah.
And we're going to possibly have 15 gins on tasting.
But yeah, that'll all be posted. Oh, thank you, Tony. Thanks for helping us through 6 lockdowns. No, thank you. You kept us sane.
It's interesting because when we started this, Vivian said, alright, we're going to do a tasting every week in lockdown. And we've missed 1 or 2.
Yeah, but that's it.
But apart from that, yeah, wow. Tony Elkins, you're bang on the money. This is 6 lockdown we've been doing this through. So it's been a huge help to, I think, our mental health to jump online and talk about wine.
Too crazy.
But thank you everyone for supporting us in our online tastings. It's got us through lockdown and I hope you guys have all enjoyed it. And we will still do online work moving forward, obviously.
Well...
That being said, bye.